Hey, what's happening, everybody? So it's a couple of days after Christmas, and we're really looking forward to the new year. Many of you guys know from the videos that I posted on Coyote Car Guy that my Whipple Stage 1 car went pretty fast. Like I say, it's a Stage 1, it's got a Whipple tune in it. It went a lot faster than we thought. It exceeded my expectations. It exceeded everybody's expectations, actually. We did not expect this thing to even crack into the 10s. We thought we were going to see low 11s with it. But it ran pretty good, even with the Whipple tune. Now, I had a problem with the tires, and we've seen that very unusual thing happen with the tires, so I won't be able to race for the next couple of weeks until I get my tires. If I get them, soon enough, maybe I'll get out and do a couple of runs before I tune it, because I'm scheduled to tune this thing in late January. Now, I just wanted to talk about this with you guys over here at Smokey's Lightning. I know that there's not that many people who follow me here, but this is just a channel that I basically am pretty candid and talk about the things that's going on and so on with you guys. And I like to get your input on what I'm doing and what I'm thinking. But the next step for this car is going to be tuning. And I've contacted two prominent tuners about tuning this car. Now, I'm not going to name them. They're very good tuners, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. But the first tuner that I talked to about tuning this car, I asked him, could you tune this car just the way it sits, with all the Whipple Stage 1 stuff on it? I don't change any hardware. Just give me a better tune than the standard Whipple tune. And he told me no. He said, you're better off with the Whipple tune. Our tune wouldn't give you very much. Just give it the octane that it needs and have fun with it. I didn't really accept that as an answer because I know that this tune is really soft off the bottom, and I know that that could be cleaned up. So I contacted another tuner. And the other tuner told me a completely different story. He said absolutely we can make more power with it. He was familiar with the Whipple tunes, and he had done exactly that in the past. So what I have to show you that explains all of that is a dyno chart. Now, this dyno chart actually has my car on it. When I first put the Whipple on the car, we did a dyno pull with it. So that dyno pull is on the chart, and there's another Stage 1 Whipple car that is on the chart. The other car is a 2019 that had a newer version of the Whipple Stage 1 tune in it, okay? And also a retune. Okay, because that car was retuned, and the power curves were very interesting. So I want to show you that, guys. Let me take you inside. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a dyno chart. Okay, this is a dyno chart of two different cars, one of which is my car, and another is another Whipple Stage 1 car that was being tuned. Okay, another Whipple Stage 1 Gen 3, 10R80 car, exactly like mine. Okay, if you look down here at the numbers, the one at the very bottom is my car. I made 651.95 horsepower and 496.81 pound-feet of torque. So even back then, I wasn't really making a lot of torque. These other two numbers is another Whipple Stage 1 car. And I'm going to show you what that's all about. Now, that Stage 1 had the Whipple tune in it. Okay, and you could see it right there at the top. 569 horsepower and 494 pound-feet of torque. Now, those were not good numbers. The next line down, the one in the middle, the red curve, that was after the Stage 1 was custom tuned. Okay, so I would just want to sort of look at these numbers a little bit. This dark black line that you see is my car with the Whipple Stage 1 tune in it. It made good horsepower up top, a little bit more than 650 horse. That was pretty good. These were all SAE corrected numbers, okay? But you could also see my torque curve. Now look at it here. It's not very strong. It's not even up to 450 pound-feet. It takes a dip in here. It starts to rise over here, and it actually peaks all the way over here, which is something like 6,600 RPM. I can't really see it at the bottom, but it gets up into the upper RPM range before it starts to make power. This light curve in here, okay, there's the torque curve of the Whipple Stage 1 tune that came in a later car. This was a 2019 model. It was, a different tune because they changed the tune a number of times. So the new tune, actually, they had a tune to make a little bit of torque. But look at the horsepower curve over here. It didn't make much horsepower at all, 569 horsepower. So from what I understand, the owner of this car was very upset about it, and he went to get it custom tuned.
So now that very same car that had, Whipple Stage 1, stock throttle body, 4-inch pulley, 9 pounds of boost, stock fuel pump. Look at the numbers that were achieved by tuning this thing, just by tuning the Stage 1. Look at the red curve. Look at how strong that torque curve is. That car was making 526 pound-feet of torque peak, and I believe it came here at about 5,000 RPM. So it came on so strong much earlier than mine down here. The new version of the Whipple Stage 1 tune actually made more torque than mine did. It's just that the Whipple Stage 1, the later version, didn't make nearly as much horsepower. So if you just look at these curves and look at mine, the dark green versus the red, it makes more power across the board until it gets to 6,600 RPM, and then they equal out. But look at how much torque is available underneath the curve by going with this tune. Now, this is a tune that I could get just by contacting my tuner and putting it on the dyno and letting him load the tune in the car. I won't make more horsepower, you can see it, but I'll make a lot more torque and a lot more horsepower below the curve. Peak numbers are about the same, but my car will run way better. Mostly, I can expect the 8th mile times to pick up with a tune like that. So I'm not exactly sure where I want to land. When I see numbers like this, I might just tune the Stage 1. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
So I got to say, guys, when I saw that dyno chart, I was pretty surprised from a couple of standpoints. For one, my car's actually making pretty good horsepower the way it is. Secondly, like I've been saying all along about the way this car drives, it's really soft down low. But, with tuning, this thing will wake up like crazy. If I was to go with what I call that red tune on that dyno chart, I could pick up a lot of torque and a lot of horsepower down low to accelerate the car in the first part of the track. Because really, if you look at my track numbers, okay, 7:05, 7 seconds flat in the 8th at about 105 miles an hour. I was on a track that got a really good bite, and I just could not get that 699, 698, or whatever it is. Most of the times, most of the quarter-mile time that when I got to 1068, I was on the second half of the track. So going with that red tune would actually get me a better 8th mile and probably equate to better times at the end of the quarter mile. I would imagine with a tune like that, I'd probably run a 1040, maybe a 1030 in the quarter mile. So I kind of go back and forth as to whether I want to just tune it or step up to Stage 2 hardware. Get the larger throttle body, the DW 400 fuel pump. My current injectors should be enough for a situation like that. And then step up to the smaller pulley, which I've already bought. Here it is right here, 3.875 pulley. This is the standard Stage 2 pulley. So I constantly go back and forth as to what I want to do. But I'm scheduled to do tuning later in January of 2020, so I'm going to have to make a decision soon. But I'm still undecided, so I'm throwing this out to you guys. Really not that many people watch here on Smokey's Lightning, but I'm curious to know what you guys think, where I should go with this. Should I just retune the car, or maybe throw this pulley on it and retune the car without stepping up to Stage 2 stuff? I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.